everyone. So today was Rise and Grind. It was the first lesson the boys were having together. The boys being Jericho and Queasy's new horse Gizmo. We've been working them separately for the last couple days and even turned them out in fields next to each other, but they've never been in a working environment together. I really wasn't sure about this, Jericho being a bit of a naughty boy and Gizmo being pretty green still. Our main goal was just to work with them individually, but in the same arena. Me and Jericho have been working super hard together. It's all been flat work and he's been doing super well. His attention span has been getting longer and he's really able to focus on some days. I was totally aware that today was just an exploration day and he was going to be really interested in what Gizmo was doing, and I was going to have to let him have some time to figure everything out and get comfortable. As you can see, he tried to keep Gizmo in his line of sight. While he wasn't aggressive at all, I could tell he was cautious of him. Gizmo is a big horse, and Jericho is usually taller than most horses he meets. I think if anything, he was a little bit intimidated. Gizmo was sort of keeping an eye on him as well, but seemed pretty unbothered. Queasy was having to take it really slow with him since he was still working on relaxing under the saddle and getting his strides even. Gizmo has one of the weirdest gaits I have ever seen, and he is super unbalanced and has no rhythm at all. It made me feel a bit grateful for Jericho's gracefulness. Honestly, I was super impressed with him today. After about 15 minutes, he had concluded that Gizmo wasn't a threat and actually brought his focus back to me. He got back to our flat work as if it was any other day. We stuck to trotting because I really didn't want to interfere with the work Queasy and Gizmo were doing, and I knew that cantering would end up exciting both horses and maybe set something off. I was actually really glad because Gizmo had a temper tantrum in the middle of the arena. Queasy was having none of it. I have mentioned this before, but she just doesn't come out of the saddle, even with the most surprising bucks or refusals. I was immediately stressing that Jericho would set off and start misbehaving, but weirdly he wasn't interested at all in what Gizmo was freaking out about. And I do have a sneaking suspicion that it might have been the fact he could stand in the shade while Queasy calmed Gizmo down. He was fine after a while, and she was sure that he needed some sort of distraction or something new to focus on since the arena had become a bit boring and frustrating for him. Now bear in mind he is quite young, so he does like to explore things, and a young horse sometimes needs to switch things up a little bit. She figured the safest place to take him that was kind of new and interesting to him was just outside of the arena to this little fence. It's actually part of a small cross-country course that runs around McFarlane and is actually the smallest and safest jump that we have. Queasy worked really slowly with him, letting him look at it, get used to being near it, things like this. He did have a few big fat no thank yous, but she was patient and kept cool with him. And would you look at that, it's raining again. Honestly, it's a really good thing that Gizmo is not bothered by it and Jericho seemed in a good mood today. Speaking of Jericho's good mood, he was such a good boy earlier that I wanted to give him a go at this too, since he actually really enjoys jumping. Of course, we approach really calmly and quietly as to not mess up Queasy's progress with Gizmo. Once Queasy and Gizmo had cleared off a little bit, I ended up taking the canter pole and the fence jump, and I was super happy. He got 3 strides in when it was meant to be a 4, but he does have a tendency to rush the jumps a little bit. See, we didn't even register the train. It had become so normal that it was just background noise, but by golly did Gizmo notice it, and he did not like it. It was very close, and for a green horse that had only been here a week and a half, I was very concerned that he was going to bolt or something worse. He was most freaked out when the train was moving, and I did not want to get Jericho too close for multiple reasons. Eventually the train did pass, but this time Gizmo took a lot longer to settle. Now bear in mind, the section of the ranch we were at had no fencing, so if he took off, I would have to go after him, and that could cause herd mentality and actually drive him further away from the ranch. I did end up trying to position us on Gizmo's other side to try and guide him back towards the arena. Queasy was such a trooper and was handling him as best as she could, while also using positive reinforcement when he did what she asked. The day was eventful, to say the least, and Jericho actually was an absolute angel today, which is something I never thought I'd say. So we have been working non-stop with the boys, mostly separately, but they have been getting on in a field that they share. I did take Jericho out to do some cross-country practice for this event here. It's at Blackwater, which is the nearest town to McFarlane. It is also the oldest town in West Elizabeth. As soon as we saw that the festival was hosting a fun cross-country run, we were both really excited to take the boys on a day out and do something fun and new with them. The festival was super cool. There were cosplayers everywhere and we got to see loads of horses. Some were carriage horses, some were trail, and some were even barrel racers. We got there early on the Friday. We just trailered Gizmo and Jericho and let them chill in their stalls while we had a blast at the festival's pre-party. Now, we did actually do a run of the whole cross-country course, but I'm only going to show you the footage from the actual run. Now, it being a fun run, it wasn't competitive, so we were actually allowed to take the horses over bits of the course the day before. Our run was quite late. We started around 4 o'clock and we did have loads of time to warm up and prepare. Now, Queasy requested I give you the raw footage with minimal voiceover, so I'm going to upload the raw cross-country run as a separate video that you can find here. Otherwise, here is the montaged version.
Turned toward me and looked so weak. I've never seen you with such tired eyes. And everything we said we'd be, we just traded for a suit coat and a tie. And underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. You're shining forward, the wind is calling. You must return to the wild. You're shining forward, the wind is calling. You must return to the wild. Follow me down, there's no one around. Lay back and take your socks and shoes right off. That natural light is so damn polite, can make you feel just like you were young again. Standing underneath the rows of trees, I can see where the ocean meets the sky. Under our clothes, the fire grows. We are ready for this life of running wild. We're running wild. Underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. Shining forward, the wind is calling. You must return to the wild. Shining forward, the wind is calling. You must return to the wild.
What a bloody blast. It went amazingly. Neither horses acted up and they both really enjoyed themselves. In the next episode, something really amazing happens. Something that will change this series forever. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay positive, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!